Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Welcome to the holiday edition of the Flyover State of Film brackets. Everybody loves a bracket.
I actually prefer to call them tournaments.
This is a flyby.
To the death.
A death match.
I want to thank my guys.
Clauses.
I want to thank Brian and Joe and TJ for coming on Christmas Eve to do this live episode for all of our fans, all of our boys and girls. Can't go to sleep.
You know, my son was crying a little bit, but I told him I'll get around to spending time with him. I got things to do. I got a podcast to record.
I don't have a family.
Sorry. When your son grows up to be a white male, he'll understand once he has his own podcast, that podcast comes first.
Privilege.
Sorry, I had to yell at the family while they have dinner so I could record this.
I'm so lonely.
That's a family tradition, yelling at people. So we wanted to. We know that all you guys are just waiting in your beds, naked, listening to us, and waiting for Santa to come down your chimney. But we wanted to fight over, because what are we going to do in the holidays? Who is the best Santa Claus? Meaning, what Santa Claus is going to come down your chimney tomorrow? Or tonight, technically. Because it's live and it's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas.
And we're doing it live. And it's So, as always with me, TJ, Joe, and Brian, we put together this beautiful bracket. We slaved over it. We did the analytics. We did everything. And now we have the perfect bracket. What's up?
Would you say we slayed over it?
Damn.
Quality content puns.
And
This guy's got
Joe
puns. He's coming down your chimney with a pun.
And Joe finally contributes.
Yeah, it's fine. Good point, TJ. All right.
Speaking of that, you guys can get our t-shirts in the TeePublic link below.
Link below, maybe, or just,
Good point, Joe.
Yeah. So, we decided to break it out into different categories. We're going to have a round-robin entry buy-in first round, whatever you want to call it, because we don't want to make this too long. But we still wanted to, shout out the different types of Santas and the different types of movies. That way you don't bitch at us on the internet. Because, you didn't include, the gory ones. Whatever, fuck you. So, first round, we're going to have the reluctant. Does anybody that actually speaks English want to say that word?
Reluctant.
Thank you. Santa round, which is Bad Santas, Billy Bob Thornton versus the Santa Claus, Tim Allen. Again, this is a quickie vote. Who do you want to see in the actual debate round, guys? TJ.
Tim Allen. I'm going
Tim
with
Allen. Joe. Who are you going to see in the debate round?
Tim Allen.
Brian.
Yeah, it's a sweep then. Tim Allen.
It's a sweep. Tim Allen moves on to the actual fighting. Now we're going to go to the unconventional round. Then here we have Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack Skellington's voiced by Danny Elfman. And the erroneous Ernest Saves Christmas, because we didn't know who else to put in. I'm gonna hold my breath while we all vote. Joe, who are you voting for?
Fuck Ernest Saves Christmas, and I love Ernest movies. It's terrible. He's not Santa Claus. The cover sells you a false bill of goods. It's Nightmare Before Christmas, which is also, I'll save it, Nightmare Before Christmas.
So we're moving on to the next round, which is the animated round. We got.
You don't even want me and TJ to pretend to vote?
No. So we got the animated round. We got the classic, the gold standard, the asshole Santa Claus from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer versus to the brand new, the mint, the newly out of the package, Claus from Netflix, voiced by J.K. Simmons. Oh, Brian, how are you start us off? Where are you going?
You know, everybody sees the Rankin and Bass stuff when they're a kid. I haven't really watched it much. It didn't hang with me like a lot of other Christmas stuff.
Debate.
Well, I think this round deserves a little debate.
Right.
I think this is as easy as you can just pick one.
I'm gonna give you a minute.
One's an icon, like one's a classic, and one is brand new. It's hard to you don't know what its impact is going to be, you know. And then the interpretations are both very different. Also, I just saw Klaus last night, so obviously much fresher in my beautifully animated. I'm gonna throw my weight behind the new one. I'm gonna go with Klaus.
Ooh.
Why are you calling
Okay,
Klaus?
Boomer.
That's how they say it.
Boomer.
That's how they say it in the movie.
I'm
Klaus.
actually gonna vote for Klaus too because I think Rudolph's Santa is a prick.
I think
TJ.
his look is the most iconic thing about him, right? Like
Yeah.
the little round body and the beard and shit.
And it's claymation.
And we have that better
Cool.
later on in the bracket.
As I say, as you guys know me, I'm a Heart guy. I'm a Rankin and Bass fan. As you see right now, as I post it here, I look just like the young Santa Claus, Kris Kringle in Santa Claus Never. What is it called, Santa?
But that's not what we're voting on.
I don't care. I'm fucking voting for Rankin and Bass, baby.
You look more like the woodsman guy.
Joe, are you gonna tie it up or are you gonna go? with,
Yukon Cornelius.
I'll take that too.
This is down to me.
Yeah.
Well, you could
Am
either
I right?
swing
Am
it or tie. No, what you got?
No, I know.
You said
Am I
Yeah.
rushing or am I dragging?
Oh, good one. That's a
Lost moves on.
He was dragging a sleigh. That's what he was up to.
All right. Next round is the we had to Santa round because we had to include these movies. We got Elf, played by Ed Asner, and The Christmas Chronicles, played by Kirk Russell. I think TJ starts us off now.
Not Kirk.
No, it's
Kirk.
It's Kurt
Kirk Russell.
I love Ed Asner.
He made
that
those.
movie. That movie's all
religious
about Will
Christmas
Ferrell
movies.
and Elf, and I'm going Kurt Russell on this baby. Breakdown, 1992.
Oh, Kirk has moved on with one vote. Brian, where are you going with this one?
Again, I think you got your competition of young and old, and this one, once had time to kind of get himself settled. But Elf is more, Elf is about Will Ferrell, right? And not, I think Ed Asner's is superfluous in that. I mean, he's got a part to play or whatever, but I got to go. Kurt Russell's his own movie, right? He's the man. I'm giving it to Kurt.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna vote for Ed Asner. I want to see him come down my chimney. Joe, are you gonna tie it or are you gonna?
I'm gonna go with, as much as I enjoyed the Chronicles of Christmas, I think Ed Asner is a better plant. He's a live action version of this Rudolph Santa, and I will bring that up later.
I got a penny, boys.
It's not on me this time to fucking virtual flip
A real coin. This is the first time I think this is legitimate now because a real coin is being used.
We're gonna go heads, Kurt Russell. Tails, Ed Asner.
Give me head. Kurt
Both
Russell.
of them are a piece of tail, if you ask me.
Tails, Ed Asner.
Ed Asner moves on. All right. We got the Mall Santa round. We got the Christmas Story Mall Santa versus the Warehouse Full of Santa and Jingle All the Way.
No,
Brian,
we're still just voting, not debating yet.
Yeah, we're just. This is the last.
Yeah, I mean, I specifically wanted to just shout out The Big Show and Vern Troyer as my two favorite Santas, but obviously I'm picking the Mall Santa from Christmas Story. So.
Joe.
Yeah, I think as fun as that scene is, you got to go with A Christmas Story. Who would become our meanest Santa on the list?
I don't know. We got a horror round coming up. So.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Christmas Story as well. I'm not gonna waste time on this one.
I'm not gonna leave it to the judges on this one.
No. And the last, not the last round. The last round we're gonna mention in the next round, but the last round robin is the horror Santa round, and we have Krampus going up against Santa Sleigh. I'll start us off. I'm gonna vote for Krampus. Joe, where are you going?
Krampus.
TJ.
Shout out Bill Goldberg and the Jackhammer, one of my favorite finishing moves of all time. But I'm going Krampus.
All right.
I just want to see Goldberg on the list again. He was kind of a throwaway, right? Like Krampus.
I gotta watch
Krampus is
that.
not Santa, and he could win this whole thing. I'm saying it right now.
Yep.
He has a jolly quality to him.
On the link that I sent you, they put a lot of his kills, and it's pretty funny.
So good.
All right, so we're actually now going to debate. And the first debate,
the dirt.
And the first debate, and I think it's fair that we left him for this round, because I think when one thinks of, that's a great sentence. When one thinks of Santa in a movie, it's hard not to conjure up the image that is Miracle on 34th Street. Either the classic or the original. They're very Santa. Like, they embody the Santa spirit. And we decided to put them to fight against each other, because what else can we do? So we have 1947's Edmund Gwenn versus 1994's Jurassic Park's Richard Attenborough. So how about we start off this fight with TJ? Where are you going with the pinnacle of Santa?
Well, my favorite part of like the newest Miracle on 34th Street is when he's sitting at the table and he's getting real deep. I think it's a woman. I think and he's talking about the flea circus and like how he made this flea circus.
Why are you assuming her gender, bro?
My mind. I think it was.
Why can't we just say they're a doctor
or a person?
She's from that movie with the Danny DeVito. She has magic and she does those things.
Matilda?
Yeah, that girl. But she's at the table with someone flea circus. I think she's eating. I think they're eating ice cream together, and like.
It's a sweet little remake.
Yeah. It's a good remake, but I never saw either of these movies, so my vote. So I'll go with Richard Attenborough for the simple fact of because he's magical and I like his voice. So that's my Santa.
One vote.
That's rad.
You know what? I'm gonna make it easy. I'm gonna just piggyback off of TJ's of I've never seen these and yeah. I remember the commercial. I remember the trailer for the Matilda.
Oh, well, you know what? That's hilarious. Let's just make it 3. I have never seen Miracle on 34th. I've never seen either of them. So what we thought was the gimme round is really the throwaway of the night.
Oh, fuck you.
Yusef looks so disappointed.
So, Yusef, why don't you just pick which Santa you like?
And we'll let that Santa move on. Whatever Santa you pick.
How about we just eliminate him from the fucking round then?
Can we bring back Ernest?
Yeah, let's just put Ernest in the finals.
I'd say we should vote for somebody to bring back. I like that.
We won the Ernest won the bracket. Thanks you for tuning in. whyIlovemovies.com, Joe. Fuck. It's a wonderful movie. The original is sweet and endearing. He is very lovable and very charming and nice.
Also strongly assumed that all the other ones had seen this.
Hey, you told me to pick, so I'm going to actually defend 2 fucking classics. And a miracle is... The remake is actually a miracle that exists. So it's so good, even though it's a remake. Both stand on their own, even though they have very similar plots and very similar sequences. I'm voting Richard because I think he's like the sweetest version of both of them. Like the Santa that you wanted. Yeah, me too. The Santa that you most want. Let's say it that way. I'm wasting my fucking time with this podcast.
To the North Pole.
So wait, whoever you picked is gonna move on. So who was it?
Richard. Let's go,
Richard
Richard.
Attenborough.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Spared no expense.
Spared no expense. I can't wait to talk about
And he
Jurassic
gets a
Park.
bye to the semis now. He had on a vote of one person. He gets a bye to the semifinal.
So
round.
let's see who fights, and rightly so. And let's see who he's gonna fight and lose against. Clearly, have you guys seen the rest of the fucking bracket? Because
Yes, yeah, I've seen most
All
of
right.
these movies.
so let's talk about the Santa Claus
Yes.
versus the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay, perfect. There we go.
How about whatever, whoever wants to start? I don't give a fuck.
Reluctant
All right.
Santa versus problematic Santa. Oh,
Unconventional.
So I'm going with I would say the Santa Claus is Tim Allen. It morphs himself into a really good Santa Claus. It starts with some death, some straight up murder of Santa, which is like a really blind
It's kind
spot.
of it's an accident. He
It's
falls,
manslaughter.
right?
But he just is like, it's cold out here, and takes the fucking pants. It's weird.
They don't even care.
But having said that, it's a fucking solid movie about Santa Claus and Miracle Christmas. He's a good Santa, and there's a really good lesson for divorced kids in there that, like, the parents don't need to get together at the end, and that directly ties to being a good Santa. Nightmare Before Christmas is a nice palate cleanser between Halloween and Christmas, but he's a fine.
So you watch it all November.
Yeah, but we're specifically talking about the Santa from the movie too.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
like
go with
Nightmare
Tim
Before
Allen.
Christmas is great, but like the Santa in it is just there to be. He's barely in it. He's just a body to get kidnapped. So yeah,
Good idea.
But Jack becomes Santa in the movie.
Yeah, and Zach.
All right, so if it's
Good
Jack
iconography.
Santa, then you could
Yeah.
argue that he's a terrible Santa. That's the whole point of the thing. Is he's bad. He's just a bad.
But he's so enthusiastic about it, though.
Well,
He
that's
really
good.
wants to
He
be
can be
Santa.
Sometimes, you
Like,
know,
I really wanted this bracket to work. Like, things just don't work out sometimes.
Well, let's talk about this. How about this?
don't sell us down the river yet. We
You
can
guys just not
say
want to
right
vote for
this
Tim
shit.
Allen? Is that what?
Wait, so you
salvageable.
wait, Brian, are you voting for Tim Allen then? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, I'm voting for Tim Allen for sure.
So, I really like that movie, but I think Tim Allen's Santa would have been better if he was allowed to say the N-word. I think that would have been really tied his arc fully together.
Well,
Since he didn't say it, I'm gonna go with
remember-
Nightmare.
Well, you've never seen Orlando Jones at the North Pole, so
And he, I think, and you never see him like get gifts for them, so that's kind of, I don't know.
yeah, no, he's a racist.
I'm gonna
Is
vote.
Santa
I'm gonna.
Claus racist? Guys, new segment. Is Santa Claus racist?
Hey, we did talk about how there were no Santas of color in our bracket, but I think that's more Hollywood's fault for not giving us like good Santas of color in movies, right? Like I can't think of any.
I don't think I did either. Is Vince Vaughn a color?
Don't ever say a color again. That's fucking awful.
I'm allowed. I'm Latino.
so moving on.
TJ, who are you voting for?
We're gonna call that defense the Rob Schneider from now
Yeah.
on.
I just don't get. I watched Santa Claus not too long ago, and I feel like him becoming the Santa Claus gave him a better excuse to be an absentee father. He's like, oh, I'm Santa Claus now, so like I can't.
He's the ultimate Disneyland dad in that. I 100%
Yeah.
agree.
He's just like, I'm gone basically 364 days of the year, but I'll be on that one day, and you can ride the sleigh with me. And you're just like, yes. And that one day he doesn't show up because Mrs. Claus, his now stepmother, fucks everything up.
Hey, now wait. We're not bringing in sequels here.
No. I was talking about women. Women.
Women be shopping.
Oh, it's their time of year.
But yeah, I gotta say, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington as Santa is a bad Santa. The simple fact that he kidnapped Santa to prove
Yeah, the kids
point.
kidnapped him.
the kids, but he's involved at some
tells
point.
what
He
kids
encourages
do.
it.
All right.
He knows
all
what he's
right.
doing.
Stop slandering his name.
Okay, guys,
Oh.
we're moving Tim Allen through. What's our next matchup?
Did you vote for Tim Allen?
Tim Allen.
Oh,
That's
All
3
right.
Tim Allens.
so
What's up with
next
the coin?
next we have two horrible Santas
Oh,
in
yeah.
their own right, which is A Christmas Story, Mall Santa, and Krampus. Brian, I think you start this one.
This is a great round, by the way. I love
Yeah.
this round.
It
Great
was
matchup
intentional.
here. I think Krampus has made a huge impact in just a few years. Already very iconic. Top 5 Christmas movie for me. That being said, though, it hurts him that it's not actually a Santa. He has the magic powers and stuff,
German
but
version.
he's just an alt version. He's the twisted, dark shadow Santa. I get it.
Truth.
The mall Santa in Christmas Story is seminal for me, though. There's just something so perfect and cynical and the antithesis of Christmas about him. The way he's almost a more evil Santa than Krampus, even though he's just a guy in a mall in a chair. The way he's just the assembly line and his mean little elves and shit. So even though I love Krampus, these are 2 top 5s for me. I'm gonna put my ample weight behind Christmas Story.
Stop putting your weight on things, man. It's just weird at this point. So I'm gonna vote for Krampus. I'm not gonna waste my time.
Ooh.
Damn.
Okay. I got
It's
two things. I got 2 things about this. I'm talking aesthetics with this one.
Okay.
You talk about Santa Claus. You talk about the look.
Put your weight on it, man.
The look of this, the Christmas Story Santa Claus is probably one of the best. Rosy cheeks, red nose, nice beard. Even though I'm pretty sure that's like a 26-year-old guy underneath that. He just looks good.
And in perfect contrast to his attitude, he looks so good, but he acts so bad.
Now, let's
Such a
talk
bad
about
boy.
let's talk about the people that they're with, the little groupings they bring with them. Krampus has a bag of bad toys and creepy snowmen, and he's got the 2 elves.
Gingerbread.
Yeah, the Christmas Story Santa Claus has 2 evil elves that want to get home in time, a slide, and he's at the top of a huge staircase in the middle of a mall, busy as shit. 2 evils.
Plus, a line, the line to get to him is also should be considered part of the evil. Because the line that long is fucking evil.
So, man, there's so much to take into this, and I guess it really comes down to which one is the worst, the baddest Santa in this round. What is
the best bad?
The best bad Santa. Ah, man. You know what? I gotta go Krampus with this one. I love Christmas Story. It ran our last Christmas bracket. Guys, haven't seen that one?
Check that
out.
movie. Joe.
Yeah.
What's up?
So, the thing with the Christmas Story Santa, he is the epitome of what Jingle All the Way was trying to do with those mall Santas, just perfectly done better.
A single pitch perfect performance.
Yeah.
The guy.
But they had Belushi, man. Belushi is the best actor of his generation.
It's
That was the wrong one, man.
Oh.
Yeah, that one's dead. It is a representation of I think the sad parts of Christmas of that mall Santa. It's such a perfect Christmas movie too. Watch last year's bracket.
Yes.
But I think I do like the uniqueness and funness of Krampus. And that version of Krampus in that movie, it's not Santa Claus, but there is a Santa-like quality of the way he does come to town that night. And I would like to see that actually world in Krampus of a Santa side to it. There's probably a really good pairing of that movie that has Santa in it.
Sure, you have to imagine Santa exists in that universe. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely does. I'm gonna go with Krampus. But for the sole reason that the mall Santa, I don't know. It's perfect, but it's perfect for its movie, and I want to see Krampus kind of wreck it out.
No, that's absolutely. I think easily Krampus could have swept this round too, but that would have been just.
Yeah, but you're just throwing your weight around.
That's right. My vote should actually be worth 2 of your votes, so I think it's still a tie. Let's flip that coin.
If we know how to add and subtract, it would have still been 3-2, but that's fine, Brian. We don't expect you to add and subtract on the fly. So
You're not a mathematician.
We're gonna go Klaus and Elf for the last round before the semis. We have Ed Asner, traditional Santa Claus, versus to what many are calling the origin story of Santa and Claus. I think it's Joe or no, mine. No, Brian started the other one. Mine. I love both of the Santas. Both embody Christmas. I like how Santa is trying to really get rid of Buddy, but at the same time still trying to keep his Christmas dignity to him. His good guy persona. He doesn't fully become the heel that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Santa is, but he still has some wear and tear to him that makes him
What about
human.
Paul Giamatti and Fred Claus?
You remember
colored?
when you got up in the beginning of the episode? You could just do that again.
No, I was just wondering.
We don't talk about Fred Claus.
I mean, I wanted Vince. Can we get Noel?
Nobody saw Noel.
I saw 2 minutes of it and fell asleep.
Better than whatever you did with Miracle on 34th Street, but that's.
For this fucking recording.
No, that's fine. Klaus is fun. Is beautifully animated. I like how huge he is, how menacing he is, and how he's going through almost like a depression, and joy of giving back to the community, to that village, to seeing the happiness on the kids' faces. That's what pulls him out of his depression that he was going through. It's both of them are great. I love both, and I don't want to lean on my recency bias.
Put your weight behind it.
But I am gonna
Put your back into it.
I am gonna put 2 fingers on the back of Ed Asner and just gently push him forward. Ooh. And I'm gonna vote for Ed Asner.
6 to midnight.
Ed Asner versus Klaus.
His name is Klaus.
Klaus.
I like Yusa's point about this. The Klaus is Santa Claus is. I like his menace, but he has the most kindness out of I think everyone on the bracket actually.
Well, if you would have seen the fucking Miracle on 34th Street.
He's all about the kids. Mm-hmm. That's all he gives a shit about.
Yep.
I think I got it, but I'm soft. I think I go with Ed Asner's. Ed Asner as Santa and Elf. I'll just keep it short and sweet on this one. I think it's a really good Santa Claus. He's a really well-meaning Santa Claus. He adopts a big Will Ferrell, and pawns him off to an elf, which is kind of weird. And I don't have many words. It's good Santa Claus. Let's just. That's my vote. I'll move on.
So Ed Asner has 2 Christmas wishes on his pocket. Is he gonna get a third, TJ?
I think Klaus. Again, the size of him, his ho ho ho.
You've never seen Klaus?
His the way that
you've never seen Klaus.
Him and the
I'm calling you out.
Together. It's one of those things to where the animation. I think it.
Here's what I want to say. I think it's bullshit. We're about to head into a position where we have 3 very traditional Santas. We still have to decide between the Miracle on 34th Street and the Santa Claus Santa, which are 2 very traditional Santas.
Hey,
I'm here for getting some young blood on this bracket. So before TJ can talk, I'm gonna vote for Klaus to make him make sure he doesn't get swept out of this round.
I was gonna say that J.K. Simmons brings this levity role and this gravitas that I feel no one else has brought to the Santa role. So with my vote, I was gonna vote Klaus. That was all I was gonna say.
Coin flip.
Just like him in Miracle on 34th Street, what I saw in Santa Claus was a lot of good, a lot of heart. So
all right, flip that coin, TJ.
Oh,
Nobody,
flip.
I'm guessing nobody saw the fucking
No,
clips
we're
that I
going
sent.
Klaus. We're moving Klaus forward. I'm not gonna vote for Ed Asmus.
It's tied. You gotta.
Then
you
it's
gotta,
tied. Then it's 2-2.
Okay.
We gotta
All right, we're going head Klaus, tails Ed Asner. Ready, baby?
cheat to get Klaus in.
Head Klaus.
What happened?
Not a word. You just sit there, be all magical and awesome.
Yeah.
What is it? Was tails.
So
It was tails.
Tails.
So the battle, fucking hell, this is a wild one. That's what happens when you do this shit on Christmas Eve, man.
So much eggnog.
So the semifinals is a dangerous one. Then we got 2Ks. If we would have voted for another one, then we would have been banned from the internet. We got Krampus versus Klaus on the semifinals, and we got
Youngbloods.
Miracle versus the Santa Claus. Somebody want to hit pause and just watch the link of Richard Attenborough being fucking Santa Claus before
Push him out and
I
group.
get it. He's nice to the little girl. He gets the fucking letters or whatever. I've seen it.
Angels
Isn't
get
he a mall?
wings.
He's a mall Santa too, isn't he? At some point in this, and the
He's-
guy just believes.
He's real Santa. He's fuck it. I don't give a fuck.
All right. Well,
Defeat your
So how
eye.
about we
Why
go
don't you go
for-
first on this one and really
Richard
sell us? Come on.
Richard Attenborough is the Joe Biden of Santa Clauses. You can't just keep pushing them down our throats.
Man, I'm just gonna bite that finger off your fucking hand, Joe. if you keep talking like that.
Yusef brought us a Pete Buttigieg, the centrist choice. He's like, here's a nice, safe Santa for you guys to vote for. We're like, no, fuck it. Klaus and Krampus.
I'm gonna see if my hair stays up.
Give me
the episode.
Give me my Krampus, my Andrew Yang of the Santa Clauses.
Fucking no more malarkey here, man.
This is too much damn malarkey.
All right.
All right, semifinals for all you boys and girls who've been good today. I guess Tim Allen is moving to the finals. I'm not gonna waste my time. Tim Allen is in the finals.
Wait, well, who's he
Fucking
versus?
racist Santa. Everybody's happy about this. This is really like the fucking politics for real. We got a racist in the finals.
Well, to
All
be
right.
fair, I think it's fair that he got
this is
bye
not
for the
fair. This is
semifinals,
not
but then he gets
fair.
booted out. He gets booted out in the semis. He got a bye. He didn't hardly have to do anything to get there.
I mean, he only had to be the best Santa Claus in cinematic history, but that's fine. The semifinals: Krampus versus Claus.
We're about to crown that title right now, so
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Rotten Tomatoes already said it. We're like, oh fuck, that's fine. I'm losing a lot of energy here.
Who's starting off?
Yusef's Christmas spirit, guys.
I'm spiraling here.
Yuletide cheer is running low.
This could be a good debate. Who's running on, except for Yusef's fucking self-pity.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my bar back there, so you guys can vote while I go prep me something.
Poor baby. Come on now, run your
No,
fucking
really, Krampus
show.
Claus.
Get in here, run your show.
Look at those calves.
We should wait in complete silence.
Let's
while
do
he
it.
does
Okay. Everyone just stay in silence. Or we can just talk. I just put it in silence, and everyone just see our mouths moving.
So,
Watch him make a drink and don't do anything till he gets back. Force him to post this thing.
Yuletide.
Did you guys vote?
Yeah, no, we were waiting.
No,
Oh,
we waited
I
for
was-
you to come back and host your show.
Yeah, so what I really want to
was gonna be fighting
say...
for Claus and TJ starts. TJ.
Nope. Oh, do
Joe. Well,
Then you
voted last.
I? Oh, okay, yeah, then I do.
So
What?
TJ, how about you start us off with the KK round, Krampus versus Claus.
Well, again, Claus, great movie. It's something
Fuck
that
you, man.
it's something that I can't wait to show my kids one day if I ever have kids. Krampus, probably the best out of all these movies we're talking about. Family come together, and then if you haven't seen Krampus at this point, there's definitely
It's
a moment.
a better Toni Collette performance than Hereditary, I'll tell you that.
Thank you. A million.
Ooh, she kills it in Knives Out.
That's not the first time we've said this on this podcast.
But it's also the most realistic family Christmas movie that invokes a Santa Claus of some type. So, like, this family, at some point, you fucking hate them because it's your family around the holidays, and then eventually they come together once they start getting picked off.
I strongly relate to David Koechner's thick daughters, athlete daughters. That's I feel that. That's very much. There's a lot of that around. That's a person you don't see in movies, but they're in real life a lot.
Yes. So like those type of things is like that's if I want a Santa Claus, I need a Santa Claus that has a strong family attached, and Klaus has such a strong family attached to that I don't know much about it because I haven't seen it. So I'm going with Krampus.
Okay, that's it. Great.
Whose turn is it now?
Joe, we got a Krampus vote. Where are you going with the KK?
You know, I really felt the magic of Christmas and shed some tears while watching Claus.
This guy didn't fucking watch it either.
Yeah,
this motherfucker didn't watch that shit.
The shit at the end with his wife and him disappearing and coming back for the postman. Yeah, it's a beautiful movie.
Spoilers.
Fuck you, TJ.
And he's my pick because he's a legit Santa Claus, and that is a really nice story of how Santa Claus became Santa Claus.
Oh, we got 1-1. Brian, where are you going?
This is tough. Battle of two new classics. Krampus has had a little bit more time to get a foothold in. Like I said, we don't really know what's going to go on with Klaus. That's a great movie, though, and a great point by Joe. A very nice message in that one, very heartfelt. Yeah. I do like, though, what TJ talked about representing the family, a realistic family, a troubled family in Krampus that comes together. Love a good survival, love a good bottle movie, This is it's a tough
We're not
one.
voting for
this
the
should
movie.
Be the finals.
We're voting for Santa. The Santa in the movie.
Okay, fair enough. Since we're voting for Santa, that will tip the scales towards Klaus.
Right.
Yes, that's where it comes more down to not so much movie, but actual character.
Yeah.
I see
Krampus
with this.
Is Krampus.
Is this fucking bracket gonna end up with us being the jerk-offs that declare Claus the best Santa Claus in 2019 because it came out in 2019? That's gonna happen.
Because we all watched it 2 days ago and we're like, yes, this is good.
We're a bunch of douches.
But wait,
we're gonna be those
pause
assholes.
this. Did you Yusuf, did you just expect like Richard Iver to bully his way through?
I did not expect you guys to be assholes and not watch the movie. That's the only thing I didn't expect. I didn't expect them to go there.
You expected me to catch up on all these Christmas movies. There's one that I haven't seen.
Yeah, I've seen.
I expected that within your 20,000 fucking movies that you watch every day, that you've hashtag every day of the holidays. One of them was Miracle on fucking 34th Street.
Guys,
but whatever.
Klaus is really good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to the finals. Klaus versus fucking Tim Allen in the finals. Who would have called that? Not me. So I'm gonna vote for this is my favorite bracket. Honestly, I've been shitting on you guys. I've had way too much fun with this stupid shit. All right, so I'm happy for this. I'm grateful for this podcast in 2019. So the finals: Tim Allen's The Santa Claus, the classic racist Santa, versus the Claus, the classic animated Santa from that,
I think we're focusing too much on Tim Allen's desire to say the N-word and not enough on how he sold out his friends to the cops because he got
the
busted
cocaine diggling.
with cocaine in the 80s. They went to prison and he did a short stint and then got to be super famous. That's underrated.
I think
that's why, boys and girls, that's why you should always have an old man in your podcast, because they have knowledge. So they have all things that happen in their head.
Tim Allen, white, cocaine, snow, Santa Claus.
Boom. All right, so I'm excited.
Crack it over, guys. Let's get out of here.
I'm excited for this finals. This is the finals that I had in my head when I was deciding the bracket with you guys. I was like, for sure, we're gonna have Tim Allen and Klaus in the finals. So I'm gonna start off because I love Klaus, and not just because it's like a traditional Santa, but because the animated studio is owned and run by Latinos. If you didn't know that, well, technically from Spain, but I'm gonna claim them. So they're like an offshoot of Disney Animations. They used to work for Disney, and it felt like, you know, that called back to the traditional animation that I fell in love when I was a kid. But they elevated it with new technology like CGI sequences. Like the flow of the entire story is beautiful. But like we said, it's about the Santa. It's not about the movie. Joe and I pointed out its beautiful message in terms of I don't want to get it too dark, but during the holidays, people get depressed, people are sad, and it's a beautiful story to place Santa in that same dark place that many people fall in the holidays.
I made that point too.
And you too, yeah, because, you know, you've watched it 5 times already.
Great element of, like, you know, one good deed, you know, begets another.
Yes.
And kind of like the power of good, the power of doing nice things for people. And
again, a point I made.
And it gives a better message than, you know, Santa being the point of the story, and it being the good deed, and it being, you know, doing something for your neighbor, and that truly being the spirit of Christmas, and that bringing happiness to everybody else. And I'm gonna be the asshole that votes for the most recent Santa Claus as the best Santa Claus, and that is Claus, J.K. Simmons. That's my vote. TJ, where are you going with this one?
I don't think I should vote yet. I think I should be like the very last.
Joe, where are you going with this one?
Well, Wild Hogs is a funny movie.
Dude, you almost made me spit out this fucking...
Real quick, nobody's talked about, and I think it's worth bringing up before anybody makes their final decisions, is part of, I think, what makes Tim Allen Santa great is the world building of, like, getting to see his workshop, getting to see his elves, getting to see
Bernard.
the kind of magic of it. I think that's cool. You know, I think you can't, like... maybe, you know, modernized. The CGI looks a little wonky, but I used to love the way, like, he'd go down the chimney, and then I like the way, like, people's radiator would open up and become a fucking
one of my favorite
chimney. That's awesome. Like,
my favorite small part of the Santa Claus, just to say, because I'm not going to vote, because I understand my vote doesn't really count. Man.
What are you talking?
But where he's just sitting down there, he's like, is that a polar bear playing crossing guard? And he just, like, looked down, like that scene right there is like, that's exactly what I would think of the North Pole.
You know what I like? I like the weird sexual tension with Judy.
Don't like that.
Yeah, it's there. No,
Judy. That hot chocolate was so good.
Tim Allen Santa Claus, there's just little things in it. I love that he is
a Jewish elf.
He is a hard, like...
I heard
the Babylon
that issue a little bit with Klaus, where, like, so the foreign people become his little elves, his little helpers, right? I was like, okay, that threw me a little bit. They don't speak English, they speak a weird language, and they come in and they wear colorful clothes, and they, like, are his little... I was like, I felt a little weird about it. It was done tastefully.
So you're saying Willy Wonka, but in, like, the North Pole, like it's Santa Claus and Willy Wonka.
He didn't enslave them. They just helped him willingly, unlike the Oompa Loompas, who were slaves. Remember, everybody, kids, the Oompa Loompas were slaves.
Yep.
So,
they were just returning the good
back to where am I voting is I am going Tim Allen in the Santa Claus, and I do want to point out, I like what Brian said, the world building, but I also love in that movie his transformation into Santa Claus, where he is getting kinder.
Yeah.
And, like, little kids are just kind of, like, running up to him.
Good montage work there.
Shedding away the racism.
It's an enjoyable 2 movies.
Yeah, 3.
No, third one doesn't.
Jack Frost, baby. Martin Short. He never misses.
Well, this guy didn't see Jiminy Glick.
So
1-1.
Yeah, 1-1.
1-1. I voted for Klaus. Joe voted
Right.
for Tim Allen.
Brian.
You can see why. Brian, where are you going with this one?
This is tough because I loved Klaus too, and I like the message of it. I love it had a lot of good things to say, actually. You know, like the element of the postman, like the spoiled guy who lived a life of luxury and learns, like, you know, the importance of what it means to actually be a good person. You know, the element you're talking about of like loss and like dealing with depression and like, you know, how one good turn deserves another, and like you can perpetuate goodwill that way. So message wise, Klaus is way out in front of what Santa Claus is doing. Santa Claus is much more basic, like, you know, father-son story going on there. But like, I agree that they maybe don't execute that perfectly because he's kind of like the ultimate Disneyland dad, and he's pretty much neglectful for the most part, and he's kind of shitty leading into that. He's got the same problem as Howard from Jingle All the Way. He's, you know, too busy with selling mattresses or whatever. He can't come home and eat the cookie.
They're my cookies.
Put that cookie down.
Did you guys love the live watch that we did? You guys, I hope you tuned in and you loved it.
Our Jingle All the Way, our
Still gonna do that.
classic Jingle All the Way live watch along. That
That was
one of our
fun.
finest.
I'm glad you guys came along.
Right along with our Nothing But Trouble one. That our canon,
that was a
our
blast.
commentary canon is getting very deep now.
TJ has promised a fucking highlight reel.
I'm gonna make this hard because TJ pretty much has to vote for
That's what
Tim
she
Allen, and I'm gonna vote for Klaus, and that way we have to coin flip.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I feel like as soon as this podcast ends on Christmas Eve, and I'm gonna watch Klaus. This is gonna be the first thing I watch for my first movie before I watch Christmas Story. I think like one of the things that has Tim Allen's over like Santa Claus over me is there's that moment when you're a kid where you realize if you're a kid watching this right now, which you shouldn't be, because we curse a lot, fucking kids.
And there's a Puerto Rican.
You should watch it.
Your parents are Santa Claus. Like that's the thing. Like, and I feel like it's a good message to be like, hey, even if you know that there's still that like magical moment where when Santa Claus dies and falls off your roof and gets a bad spinal injury on your front lawn and waves goodbye to you, and your dad puts on the suit, he gets to become Santa Claus. That's the thing, you know? So
We all have our turn.
yeah, we all got a turn. We're all gonna put the Christmas presents on the tree. We might wrap them because we feel really good that night. We might not because we're feeling lazy that night. Either way, I think Tim Allen and his transformation into Santa Claus, the difference between the relationship between him and his son that grows either in one movie or several movies, for me. Again, I haven't seen Klaus, so like Brian did, let's do the fair thing and let's flip that baby boy coin right now.
Yeah, baby.
So we're gonna go.
So
Heads is-
much
heads
points.
is-
Listen,
No,
that's
wait,
what makes
wait,
good
wait,
bracket
wait.
indecisiveness.
Okay.
When you fucking throw the thing,
Okay.
you're gonna pick it up from your hand
And
and
put it in the
show
screen.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be tricky.
All right. So we're gonna go head.
I know you ginger tricks.
Mouse. Tails. Tim Allen. Santa Claus. All right.
Yeah.
Caught. I can't tell what it is. What is it?
It's a head.
Klaus.
We did it. We picked
Klaus wins.
the newest movie as the best movie.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. It
And
is
then-
really good though.
So,
Hey, you know what? That makes sense though, because they had all these great Santas, including my personal favorite, Richard Attenborough from Miracle on 34th Street. God, I
Such
just
a good
love that
movie.
performance.
That's a
I'm
great
so glad
movie.
that they were able to build on such a great
Yeah.
film and make a new classic for all of us to enjoy.
So you heard it here. The best Santa Claus in
It's the
Hollywood
new
history is Richard Attenborough from Miracle on 34th Street, 1994. Thank you guys for participating. You did not know that he actually had to buy all the way to The Crown. I'm the one that's controlling the bracket down here, so you can't say shit about it. Congratulations.
Honestly, and when I make the bracket graphics, and if you just sent me the word who it is and read it out, you could easily sneak it by to read that way.
I'm gonna send it on email so you guys, the other ones, don't say shit.
Okay. Chandango 1,
so
BBD
Klaus.
Bonker, TJ Dex,
Klaus.
you're watching.
Klaus, if you haven't seen it, see it. It's a blast. It's good.
Yeah, go watch Klaus. It's legitimately very good.
Merry
I think
Christmas.
it's easily added to your Christmas rotation, and please fucking add Miracle on 34th Street in there as well. So where can the people find you? Happy and Merry Christmas to everybody here. Happy holidays and Happy Hanukkah and
Yeah, hey, happy holidays, okay?
Hey,
Come
there was a
on.
Jewish kid in the final, so fuck you.
Oh yeah, Bernard.
Yeah, Bernard.
You guys are on Flyover to the Film. I'm at TJ Dex on Twitter. Other than that, guys, hit us with your favorite Santa Claus in the comments. Ryan and Steph. And
Hi,
Ryan,
T-shirt.
where can we find you?
Chandango.
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Hercules, and right here every so often with these wonderful lads disappointing Yusef with movies we haven't seen.
Yeah,
Get some taste. Joe, where can the people find you?
what Brian said. Find me.
Chandango. Follow him.
Chandango 1.
You want to get pissed off about his opinions and you can block him later.
Yeah.
Get mad and block me.
Don't.
Hey guys, and
Block
if you
me,
wanna
bro.
buy
me,
my
bro.
art, it's just $35 per. Join our Patreon.
Hey, 35,
Here.
that's a steal.
That's actually really
Steal.
nice. That's some Banksy type stuff.
Yeah,
If you're looking for something for the holidays,
beautiful. WhyILoveMovies.com. Thank you for being here. I love you. I miss you. Call me. Bye.